I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound I was afraid I'd never hear.
Robert Zemeckis brings us a movie where it's based on a book and also has a whole lot of characters that look a bit strange, so it is. Okay, let's talk about the Polar Express. So I read the book, or yeah, the book, which just, I always liked the story, and I think Chris Van Allsburg. I think I read the Polar Express. I believe I read Jumanji. I don't think I read Zathura, even though I really like Zathura. It's one of the movies I grew up watching. Jumanji, I think I always liked it until the animals popped up on screen, and I'm like, yeah, this CGI kind of looks like smudgy. It doesn't look good. And I was like, oh, that's because it was made in the 90s. Got it. And especially since they shot that on film, and then you have all the digital work, it's going to look very odd. But this one, the Polar Express. So I read the book. I think I read the book before I saw the movie. I can't remember. But me personally, I think this movie kind of gets a bad rap. Not a whole lot of people like this movie. You like this movie, especially if you saw it when you were a kid. I saw this movie when I was a kid, and I liked it when I was a kid. Today, I'm aware of of the way it looks, and it looks very early 2000s mocap, and it looks a bit strange and kind of off-putting. But I still to some extent enjoy the movie. I still do. So the whole Polar Express, it's about a train that takes kids to the North Pole to go see Santa, because they say that, okay, if you didn't write to Santa, if you don't believe in Santa, if you don't, anything associated with Christmas, if you didn't do anything to engage with Santa, you didn't see Santa at the mall, you didn't, write to Santa, you don't believe in Santa, then the Polar Express is your one-way ticket to make you believe. And I think the way they do it in the movie, I think is well done. Me personally. Because you also got to remember that this is a small book. It's a picture book. And yeah, it's just, you have a little bit to go by, so you have to expand it. And I think the way they expanded it and expanded the story, I think worked well. Now let's get the obvious out of the way. Yes, the mocap doesn't look very good. I understand that. But when I was a kid, I knew the first time I saw it when I was a kid, I'm like, that's not a real person. That's not real. That looks weird. But it never bothered me. I can see where it bothers others, but to me, it didn't fully bother me. Like the whole setup of the train coming, it was really cool the way they did it, and especially like the second the main kid runs outside and there's just all this smoke, and then the train slowly appears. I'm like, dude, that looks really cool. and it captured the illustrations in the book. It really did. Like you see like a little like a probably like 2-inch figure, which is the kid, and then just how massive this train is. And it's just super cool. And I love how it came out of the smoke, very much kind of like it's a ghost train. Because not a lot of people caught this. And I didn't catch this the first couple times I saw it. But then when I looked deeper, I was like, oh, that's cool. The scene where they're getting back on the train from from being in the North Pole, and as he's putting the ticket back in his pocket, you can see the ticket slowly fade away, like it was never there. So so the movie really plays with, is this all a dream? Like, did this all happen? Was time able to stop? What power does the train have? And I was really fascinated by that. So the story-wise, I think the way that they were able to capture the story and capture the illustrations and capture the book, while also greatly expanding on it, like adding, like Jack Frost, I think was really cool. Like, I really liked what they did. Yes, I know the movie can get a little silly, especially it changes tones a lot, but I still liked like a lot of like the scenes that are supposed to like have you on edge, where it clearly is saying, okay, look, we know this is not real life. This is not real. Like the whole fact that they're in front of the train and they're going super fast, and then the whole tracks just become roller coaster type tracks. They're aware, and they're asking you, like, this isn't really real. And and especially towards the end, where you see the ticket fade away, or he grabs his robe in the beginning of the movie, it rips, and then it then happens again. He's like, wait, that one was already ripped. What is going on? So it's supposed to, play with this idea, like, is this reality? Is it not? And I really like what they did. And those scenes, and especially like the scene where the train is just on the ice, where the ice froze over the tracks, I really like that whole scene. Like I said, it gets quite silly. And especially when they get to the North Pole and all the elves sound like chipmunks, except for that pretty much like Steven Tyler ripoff elf. And they all sound like very high pitched, all sound like chipmunks. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's a kid's movie. I get it. But, I liked what they did. I also like how they used the bells as a way to make you like believe. Like, you don't hear it, so you're like, what? How is everyone else hearing it? I don't understand this. But then once you hear it, you're with everyone else. And I really liked that they did that idea. I really liked what they did with that. Because, when I was a kid, I thought they just cut that part out of the movie, or something was wrong with the audio. But no, it was actually like, oh, it's supposed to mean this. It's supposed to mean like you believe. And I really liked what they did, and especially like at the end with the kids, like, my sister, my parents, they never heard the sound, but I always did, because I saw him, because I saw Santa is real. So he's keeping his believing in Santa Claus alive, which, I really liked. I really liked how they did that. And yes, Eddie Deezen is the know-it-all kid. He got kind of annoying. I get it. Yeah. So to be honest, yes, the mocap is a bit distracting, but I do like what they did. And to be frank, I saw this a lot when I was a kid. But I'm trying not to play with that nostalgia. So, me personally, I think this movie gets a grade. If the mocap was a bit better and wasn't a little too distracting, and also some of the silly parts weren't as, like, in your face, then I think this would get a higher grade. But still, I still think this is a good movie. And but unfortunately now, thanks to them making memes on YouTube, that kind of killed a little bit with this movie. So I can't watch this movie anymore without thinking of the memes that I watched. And to be frank, sometimes it sucks, but sometimes I just get a kick out of it. So, oh well.
Well, you coming?
Where?
Why, to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express.